we as school leaders in 2025 should be using technology ourselves. We should be using AI. We should be more fluent in, what is robotics bringing to our students' learning and engagement. We should understand how STEAM, actually helps implement cross-curricular subjects and content area and knowledge. And the further we separate ourselves from technology, from that student learning in the classroom, from AI, then we are easily swayed, and in some ways not swayed in the best ways.
Welcome to the podcast, listeners. My name is Shreya and I'll be the host for today's podcast. In a world where technology and artificial intelligence are reshaping every industry, preparing students to thrive in this new landscape is more critical than ever. Today, we're talking to a leader who is not only on the front lines of these transformations, but also pioneering strategies that empower students to work with AI responsibly and creatively. Dr. Sonia Bustamante is a superintendent of Escuela Vista in Venezuela. With over 18 years of international education experience, she's known for integrating AI and technology into schools, advocating for diversity and inclusion, and guiding students to become global resilient thinkers. Dr. Sonia, we're glad to have you here today. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. We are really excited to do this podcast with you. So I'd love to start this discussion with knowing a little about your journey. So you've had a remarkable journey across countries, schools, and roles. What was it initially that drew you to this career in education, and do those motivations still resonate with you today?
I would say it was two reasons. I'm coming from the U.S., and like a lot of college graduates in the U.S., I left the university with college loans, and so I moved abroad to pay those back, faster than what I would have done if I stayed in the U.S. But I think the other reason and why I was looking at certain countries is I wanted to give back to communities that were developing, communities that did not have a lot as far as infrastructure, education, a solid, or they were known for public education. And so I was kind of specific as to what type of international school I wanted to go to.
Perfect. That makes a lot of sense. And you've had a lot of experience over a lot of countries. That's the US, Philippines, and now Venezuela. How has your experience, how has your leadership style evolved through these international experiences? And what guiding principles do you bring to your role as superintendent right now?
Well, I guess it would be the second part that I didn't answer of the first question is, are those same guiding principles still guiding me now? So no, the student loans, right, have been paid off.
Yeah.
I received a doctorate since then. And for an odd reason, I didn't choose Venezuela. Venezuela chose me. And I actually found the Philippines to be very, a very fast and thriving economy and very developed. So, and the same for actually Venezuela as well. So I think that these communities have great education systems and a good infrastructure and good technology and fast Wi-Fi and all the things that you would not assume if you weren't in those countries. So I think that for me, what's driving me now is continuously finding schools that and boards and communities that want to increase their academic rigor and want to increase their technological prowess, I guess, and their student knowledge, whether it's in AI, robotics, AR, VR, MR, whatever that is, because I think that's what I'm most passionate about as I am growing in leadership is change and change management and doing it while bringing the whole community with you. That's exciting. So if you see my background, I was in the Philippines for 9 years. You can't just do change in 2 or 3 years. And a lot of these international teachers I'm going to go to Africa for a couple of years, and I'm going to go to Southeast Asia for a couple of years, and I'm going to go to Europe for a couple of years. And it turns into, you can't really foster long-lasting change in a short amount of time. You need You need to, first of all, land in an environment and assess what change is needed. Is that change sustainable? Does it make sense to the community, to that current community? Not where they're gonna, I'm in Latam right now. I'm in Venezuela. Does Venezuela want to have what's going on in Dubai? Or, then that's a different reality, and that might be a little harder to reach. So for me, I think the passions are to make change, to bring change that is realistic and sustainable while still moving forward, while still moving the community forward. And that is very different for every community. And even in the Philippines, where there's tons of international schools, it would be very different for an international school in Manila versus an international school in Cebu. And here in Venezuela as well, I'm in Maracaibo, which is closer to the oil industry. So what our community wants and what we can offer is very different than what the international schools in Caracas would offer, for example, or what they value as important.
Right. So I think we're looking at understanding what is it exactly that the community needs, and not just like inculcating every change that is happening around the world. Is just customizing, person making that particular change. So yeah, that is incredible. I think we are ready to jump on to today's topic, that is preparing students for the AI-driven world. So AI is rapidly changing how people work and learn. From your perspective, what are the most critical skills students need to thrive alongside AI in their future careers?
I love AI. Personally, I love AI, and professionally, I love AI. I think what students need is just the ability to know how to use AI in their everyday, day to day, whether they are wanting to improve, they're a basketball player and they're wanting to improve their basketball shot. It's ask AI, this is what I keep doing, and these are the drills that I keep, this is where my ball keeps going. And AI can help you with that. AI can be your own personal coach. So then in the classroom, being creative is one thing that we still as humans have that is different and keeps us different from AI and keeps us better than AI. So taking our creativity and asking AI, so what ideas and what topics, what essays, what projects should I create if my passion is this? So it's still teaching students that you still have the upper hand when you are creative, when you are an inquirer. You lose that upper hand when you're asking AI for that creativity, when you're asking AI to do the inquiry for you. And so that's something that I'm passionate about in teaching students, especially actually it's going back and teaching our students those skills that make us human and make us better creators and better inquirers and better collaborators and empathizers and sympathizers, if you will. So we are also focusing at the same time, not just on AI, but in parallel or in unison with social and emotional learning. So once we get our EQ up, our students' emotional intelligence up, and we raise that awareness, we're also raising their why they are unique, and why we still have that competitive advantage over AI. But we have to be the one using AI. It cannot be AI using us, or us just literally, we have no ideas, we have no spontaneity, we have no creativity, and we need AI to do all of that for us. Then at that point, then humanity has a problem.
So I'm hearing a lot of human skills. And if I were to ask you, how is it exactly that you are fostering these critical human thinking skills, these skills that AI cannot replace in any capacity at all? So how is it exactly that your students are learning these things in the world where AI is sort of taking over?
So I think it's going back to, and really, we are a standards-based school. And if you're looking at standards, and instead of going to that rogue teacher, lecturer, learner, just copy notes, don't ask me any questions. That's one of the advantages about being in the region in Latin America. Our students are well known to question teachers. And we're not questioning teachers in a disrespectful way, like I think Southeast Asia educators might not be used to, but questioning the content, questioning the why, and getting the teachers to be comfortable with that type of questioning and seeing it as that's more inquiry. We're developing inquirers. Magic School. Have you ever heard of Magic School?
Yeah.
So Magic School, I guess, came out on the scene 3 or 4 years ago, right when ChatGPT launched, or OpenAI launched ChatGPT, right around that time. And we quickly signed up as a school for Magic School because I was reading at the time, and I was already using a lot of AI, or the chatbots, was that the prompts that older educators or older individuals were having issues with prompting AI. And what I liked about Magic School was it already provided the prompt for educators. So we're using Magic School as a private school, and our teachers are, they're busy. They don't want to be introduced to things that are new, especially if they don't like technology. That's already no, that's too difficult. But if you are meeting them halfway with the tech, which is what I love about Magic School, and that's what it is. It starts the prompt already for you. Do you need a lesson plan for this? Do you want us to write a different worksheet for that? Would you like us to differentiate this? And so all of those prompts are already listed. And I know Khan Academy has their chat GPT as well for educators, or their chatbot for educators. And so that quickly getting our teachers to use that resource and seeing how fast, or seeing how easy it made teachers' jobs to differentiate, to change assessments, to make it more real life based, or sometimes to just give me a real life problem with this equation. Now give me a real life problem for that, and then AI can spit that out in 5 seconds. So that's where I'm seeing that benefit of those AI tools. I don't know if I'm answering the question, but once I start talking about Magic School, then I'm like a commercial for them.
That's good. We shall maybe pitch this to them, and who knows? But yeah, okay. But you were talking about teachers and them being ready to accept this new technology. So I know that a lot of teachers may be a lot ready and receptive of AI and new tools. But how do you prepare and support your faculty to effectively use AI in classrooms, especially when there may be some sort of stigma attached to the use of AI?
Well, and that was big. So that was one of the big selling points, I think, for Magic School to me, is when we signed with them that they were going to provide training.
Okay.
We had a Zoom training with one of their associates, and who was a teacher. So all of their cell associates at the time were teachers and moving into that area. So to have a teacher really break this down for faculty. Yeah. Then we also sent some teachers to local teachers conferences. There was a teachers conference in Valencia, Venezuela, and the conference was all about artificial intelligence. So those teachers that we had sent to that conference also came back and did a teaching teachers professional development on AI. And one was Gemini. Then there's the other AI that can make PowerPoints for you. So it was our teacher. That's the best way. And I talked about change management before, but the best way to implement change management is by using teachers to teach teachers. Because as a superintendent or a principal or someone in leadership that isn't working with students all day and doesn't understand the grading, the preparing, the teaching, the communication, emails with parents, teachers tend to not be as open when those individuals are giving them advice. But if they're getting the advice from fellow teachers who are telling them that this is going to increase your personal time, this is going to make differentiation easier, this is going to help you understand assessment data better, this is going to make this is going to upskill your classes, this is going to make your classes that much more engaging, and the answers are coming out in 5 seconds, then that's when teachers had that buy-in. So it was really with a lot of professional development. And I think what was also great is our administrative staff was using Magic School. And we were seeing the professionalism in our emails and how easy it was. Like, wow, everyone's emails are just so professional these days. And it's like, you can tell that they're using this tool, which is great, because you're still responsible for the words that are coming from your email. Just because AI wrote it doesn't mean, oh, that's an AI generated email. I find that very interesting nowadays, where there's a lot of people say, oh, there's too many M dashes in that paragraph, so that must be artificially written. And now I don't believe you. But does that really take away that those are actually the words that's my message? Whether I polished it or AI polished it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cry about the whole M dash thing, where people end up removing those M dashes manually just so that it does not look AI written. But yeah, I mean, even if AI is helping us to frame it a little better or frame it more professionally, I don't think that there's a harm to it per se. So yeah, I mean, that does make a lot of sense. And the fact that it came from their fellow teachers, I think it would have made them a little more receptive towards kind of, accepting that new change. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If I had to ask you about equity and AI, so equity is often a challenge when you're introducing advanced technology. How do you ensure that all students, regardless of their background, have access to AI-related learning opportunities?
Provide all those opportunities in the classroom. Okay. I mean, that's really as schools and educators, and coming from public education in the US to now private elite institutions abroad, the same issues are seen in both affluent schools and non-affluent schools. If there is the lack of oversight at home is equal in both communities. But I think if you're providing those opportunities in the classroom with oversight from the teacher and guidance from the teacher, as well as support from peers, that's when the school can control things. The school and the school leaders control things during the school day, from the time the students actually, even before the bell rings, right? From the time the student is dropped off at school to the time the student is picked up. That's where that is where our control lies. And that's where we have to take advantage of providing those equitable opportunities. Unfortunately, once those students are picked up, then that's where the questions can come arise, as far as what are the students using AI for? Is it healthy? How much? I mean, even ask the questions, or back up what's the issue even before that, is how much time are they on the devices?
And I think when we're talking about the use of AI, especially in terms of students, I think it is also important for them to know how to use it responsibly. So how are you integrating AI and technology into the curriculum in a way that students understand how to use these tools and understand how to use them more responsibly and creatively at the same time?
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we can improve upon. But I think that also helps educators or our teachers understand if a student is using AI too much or inappropriately. And so you're having those conversations. You're having those conversations with students as you're introducing a lesson or an assignment. You're showing them how to use it. They're using that more in the classroom.
Okay. So now on to the last question that I have from my end for you. Looking back at your global career and your current work in Venezuela, what advice would you give to other school leaders seeking to prepare students for a future that is increasingly shaped by technology, global changes, and rapid change?
I would say the advice is to not rely on your faculty to keep you up to date, meaning we as school leaders in 2025 should be using technology ourselves. We should be using AI. We should be more fluent in, what is robotics bringing to our students' learning and engagement. We should understand how STEAM, actually helps implement cross-curricular subjects and content area and knowledge. And the further we separate ourselves from technology, from that student learning in the classroom, from AI, then we are easily swayed, and in some ways not swayed in the best ways. So I think there was a lot of school leaders in the US when AI came out that either the law made it illegal, or they themselves have said, oh, I'm going to personally be anti-AI. And I don't understand that, because if we are in education, we need to be educating our students for tomorrow, for the inevitable, for what we know is coming. And I think that's my personal journey, is to do just that. I'm following a lot of the LinkedIn news about, Mark Zuckerberg is who he's recruiting for his new mega AI, lab, and how much he's spending on these candidates, and how much, he's trying to headhunt from other AI or technology companies. And I'm like, why is he spending so much money? What is he trying to accomplish here? And it's not just him, they all are. And I educated myself on the next AI that they are all trying to build, and that's that artificial general intelligence, that's where we should be concerned. Where that's, all of the humanity that I'm trying to implement in students, that's what they're trying to get AI to be and to do. And so so if we are not preparing, even giving our students a chance to be competitive or to thrive in that world, and if we are not personally making it our responsibility, then that's not fair for our students, and that's not good quality leadership that is needed at this time.
I think that's a very wonderful advice. I think a lot of our listeners would resonate very well with that. Okay, so those were all the questions that I had from my end. We have this little segment where we have the previous leader that we've done a podcast with ask a question to the next leader. So the question that has come up for you is that when you think about people that you lead, what do you hope that they take with them from you, which is what will continue to grow through them? Like, what would be Dr. Sonia's legacy when they think about it?
Clear is kind. Okay. So, which, that's the Brene Brown very famous quote. And I think for me, it's about being transparent, being clear regarding expectations, regarding where the school is going, regarding change. I feel that during times of crisis, to be clear while staying calm. And there's a difference between being clear versus sharing, creating an echo chamber between you and your colleagues of fake news. I think that going after the facts and data and actually what's really going on, especially me being in Venezuela, that's very important. And at the same time, that also was something I needed in the Philippines. But I think clear is kind, get to the problem, highlight what's currently going on, assess the situation, provide all the solutions. And I think that in situations or in environments, communities such as this, where some may see it as hardship, I don't see it as hardship. I don't think that this is a hardship post at all. But then external news is identifying it as such. And I think as that we need to continue to be clear and transparent and informative for faculty. And I think that will also help calm fears and anxiety.
That is beautifully put. And yeah, just thank you so much for taking out the time to do this. I think our listeners would love this perspective on AI. And yeah, just thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.